Welcome to Impact by DIFFA Dallas, the official podcast of the Dallas chapter of the Design Industries Foundation Fighting AIDS. We'll share valuable info about the fight against HIV and AIDS, what our organization is doing to assist those in our community, and most importantly, how you can help us make a real impact.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Impact. I'm your host, Shane Allen. In-person events have been on hiatus for a while because I don't know if you heard about this thing that was going around for the past 14 months. But I have some news. We're going to break some news today here on the DIFFA Impact podcast because an in-person event is back, and it's one of my favorite in-person events the entire year. I have with me Al James, who's one of my fellow trustee members on the board of DIFFA Dallas. How are you?
I'm doing well, Shane. How are you?
I'm well. Al is also the chair of an event called Burgers in Burgundy, and we have some news to break to you. And I guess I'll just hand it over to you. What's happening, Al, with Burgers in Burgundy?
Well, I'm very excited to say we finally have a date after what will be a 2-year hiatus when it's all said and done. We are going to have the event on October 8th, which is a Friday, and we have a brand new location that I'm excited to tell everybody about. We are going to be at the new Peace Plaza at the Cathedral of Hope. So very excited about that. Cathedral of Hope has been a longtime partner of ours. They've had some HIV/AIDS programs in the past. They've been a benefactor of our organization, so it's great to actually partner with one of our AIDS service organizations on this event.
Here's what I love about that location is, and by the way, if you're listening and you don't know what Burgers in Burgundy is, just stay tuned. We'll get into that in a minute because you'll want to get a ticket to it. But what I love about the location is you've got DIFFA, which is a well-established HIV/AIDS organization, right in the middle of Cathedral of Hope, which basically began during the 1980s as a way for people to bury their friends who were dying during the height of the AIDS crisis. And then the Resource Center is on the other side of this location, just right near that property. Obviously, one of our benefactors and beneficiaries, we're the benefactor, I suppose, one of our beneficiaries, and who's obviously been around for decades in helping people living with HIV and AIDS. I think after 2 years in the making of Burgers coming back, I don't think it could be at a more beautiful place.
Very excited about it. Like you said, we're right in the backyard of two of our AIDS service organizations, so we are going to engage them as much as possible. But, you know, one of the great things right off the top, there's no venue rental. So, you know, we're saving money right off the top, and we're going to be able to grant out more money from this event. So
love
very
that.
Excited about that.
So what I love about Burgers in Burgundy, DIFFA, obviously our signature event is House of DIFFA. It's this massive fashion show on one of the largest fashion runways in the world. That's also been on hiatus because of COVID. More news coming on that in the coming weeks or months. But it's this glamorous event, the best event in Dallas. And then at the other end of that spectrum, you have something very simple. Burgers and Burgundy. Also glamorous, but at the end of the day, it's burgers and wine.
Absolutely. And I don't know about you, but both are top of my foodie list. So I think this is one of the must-attend foodie events of the season here in Dallas. And just a little bit of history and perspective. Chef John Tizar, who is the chef at Knife and owner of Knife, he started this event. My mouth's going to be off because we waited for 2 years, but this will be the 12th annual. He was on the Style Council, and he came up with this event to raise money as his part of being on the Style Council. And it was such a big hit that we said, John, can we continue this event year after year and, you know, make it a signature fundraising event for DIFFA? And he said, absolutely. And so he and Terry Provençal with Patron Magazine were sort of the two that started this thing, and they're still with us today. And just to give you a little more context of the event, John invites 11 of his chef buddies in town, sometimes chef buddies that are out of town, to come do their take on the perfect slider burger. You know, no holds bar. They can do whatever they want, use whatever meat or not meat that they want. And then we pair them with some great red wines, and it's just a fun event to come out. It's on a Friday night. It's usually from about 6 to 9. So, as the sun's going down, October, things are cooling off. Just a really fun event.
And on top of that, there's always a really nice silent auction that's going on at the same time. Usually some announcements are made from the DIFFA point of view. I don't know. It's in October. We have a lot of time to plan this out, but I don't know what, if any, announcements we're going to make at that time, or if it's just going to be like, hey, we're all back together. Welcome.
Well, as far as our fiscal year goes, Burgers is the first event of our season. So we do kind of use it to kick the fundraising season off. So we're typically announcing our Style Council members, which we announced, 2 years ago, and they're sort of on hold. So something tells me we'll be re-announcing the Style Council members because it's been a while, and some of us may have forgotten who is on that for this year. So, and I'm sure there'll probably be some other great announcements as we get more details on our main House of DIFFA event.
It's definitely the FOMO-worthy event of the fall because it's DIFFA, and we're going to put on an awesome event. I almost said badass, but I just did anyway. And then also, we make some pretty big announcements. It never fails leading up to Burgers and Burgundy. People are always asking DIFFA board members, what's the announcement? What's this going to be? What are you going to announce? What's going to happen? So everyone's definitely kind of chomping at the bit, no pun intended, leading up to Burgers and Burgundy.
Absolutely. Another fun thing that we're going to add this year, and I kind of thought it was the first year we were doing this, but I've been told it's been done once before. It must have been one of those years I was living in another state. But we're having a live band at the event this year, so I'm very excited about it. It's going to be Party Machine, which they are part of the Emerald City family here in Dallas. And if anybody knows anything, they're just the best cover band, in town, and they're absolutely fantastic. I had them play recently for 2 gala events at my previous job with another organization, and they're just fantastic. So I'm very excited to kind of have, that element to add to the event that at least has been missing for the last couple of years. We've had a DJ, which is great, but, you can't beat live music. So
yeah,
I'm very excited about that.
Such a great band. I've seen them play. If you haven't looked them up on social media, they're so energetic. It's going to be a fun night between the location, the band, the fact that DIFFA is back doing events. It cannot come soon enough.
Yes. As we're navigating these post-COVID, waters, the event is going to be outdoors. So, there's still some safety precautions in there, but I'm hoping by October that we'll be even, further along on this curve than we are, and everybody will just be able to come, have a good time. It's been far too long since we've all been together, and, just celebrated, had a good time.
And that's worth noting. We don't know what October is going to look like. This event is going to happen. Hell or high water, this event is going to happen. But we don't know exactly what that's going to look like come October. But we're consistently keeping up to date with the CDC recommendations, our local health officials, obviously, on what the best path forward is and what the, mask rules, et cetera, leading up to the event.
Of course. I'm going to stay optimistic and hope that it can go off, as planned, per normal and usual. But very excited about it. It's always been one of my, favorite things that DIFFA does. It's just, it's very different for us, and it, takes us into that foodie category, and, who doesn't love burgers and wine? I
have brought friends to Burgers and Burgundy from out of state, even from out of the country one time. And everyone, if you haven't been, everyone says, this is the perfect event. Why does this not happen in my city or where I'm from? And I'll be honest, I'm surprised more people haven't copied it in other places.
Sure.
Because it's amazing. You're just drinking amazing wine and having celebrity chef prepared burgers all night.
I'm gonna give the viewers a tip. If you haven't been to this event before, even if you have, 12 slider burgers is a lot. So my partner and I, we go down the line and we split a slider. So when you split a slider, we come very close to trying all of them, if not all of them. But you know, if you start off eating a whole one to yourself, when you get to that third, fourth, fifth one, you're going to be getting kind of full, and you're going to miss out on some great burgers. So I say find a friend and split the burgers.
That is a brilliant idea, although I will accept the challenge of having 12 full burgers on my own, including 12 glasses of wine and Ubering home, of course. Al James, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to get this news out to everybody that we're back. One more time for everyone before we go, the date, location, all of that.
Yes. It's going to be Friday, October 8th at the Peace Plaza at Cathedral of Hope. And I'd be remiss if I didn't announce our presenting sponsor, Southwest Funding. So thank you to David White and his company, who's just been a wonderful supportive of DIFFA, and to step up as title sponsor of Burgers in Burgundy. We applaud you.
Yeah, Southwest Funding, so great to DIFFA Dallas. It even goes down to our young professionals group and how much they help that group out as well. So thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Al James, thank you again.
Thank you, Shane. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, you can learn more about Burgers in Burgundy and about DIFFA Dallas online at diffadallas.org. Until next time, I'm Shane Allen. Bye, everyone.